Hi Virgo, welcome to your mid-May 2020 General Tarot Update. It's Raina here. Alright, I'm shuffling the cards. Sorry if this is off camera. I have my camera slightly different just to keep it in one place. Just based on what is going on with it. This one really popped out. Okay. Okay. So the heart of the matter, I'm going to bring up this past position card that is informing. Let's look at the past first. The Eight of Cups. Leaving what is no longer serving you. Oh, I don't know if did somebody tell me, because I always think, you know, the cups are water signs for sure. And I always think, which water sign? Sometimes it can be Mercury and, you know, Pisces or something like that. But, you know, it doesn't have to be just a sun sign position. But I always associate this card with Scorpio, because Scorpio rules the 8th house and is a water sign. And I don't know if somebody said, oh no, that's a Pisces. I really think that it's Scorpio, and I'll tell you why. Because of all the water signs and the energy behind it. We don't have to get caught up in whether this is a Scorpio person in your life. Because with Scorpio, there's a certain kind of a passion present, along with the other attributes, the powerful attributes. And I think the reason there's a passion is because Scorpio is ruled not only by Pluto, but by Mars, the ruler of Aries. So there's kind of like a fire within Scorpio. You know, you could even say defiance. And with this water energy, being able to break away from something because you know that it's not feeding your soul. And this can run the gamut. This could be a job, a relationship that you're just not feeling. The fact that you're a Virgo, one of the things that really matters to you is being of service and feeling like you're maybe helping others. So if there's a situation where you feel like there's no way for you to actually improve somebody else's life, you may just throw in the towel. But it's really not throwing in the towel. That's not a good way of describing it. It's more like, it's almost like a spiritual quest. And this could be like a spiritual quest that has nothing to do with any particular life situation. But of course, it always does. There's, you know, we're holistic beings, so every area affects the other. Yeah, so this definitely could be a relationship too, because sometimes you may get in, maybe some of you Virgos get into relationships where you are trying to get somebody else's life together, kind of like Pisces, but even, you know, a more determined project of, you know, of improvement on somebody else's life. And then, you know, for instance, somebody with an addiction, and realizing they have no intention of quitting, and you're just sucked into their negativity. So it's kind of an interesting card. I actually like that card a lot in the Minor Arcana. And we have here as the central focus is the Ten of Cups. So this may be in order to, this is a card of family joy, family harmony. So if you were involved in a relationship that was threatening that, you're willing to walk away, or you were willing to walk away. If it's a job situation, especially a job that was maybe more and more demanding on you, I wouldn't be surprised, because we have the Four of Swords. So that's almost like rehabilitation, rejuvenation. But with the Ten of Cups, this may be an attempt to restore happiness within your family, a sense of, like, if you have children, seeing your children more, being able to enjoy family life, and perhaps even what has been happening to all of us with the shutdown, we'll call it. And I have some other pet names for it, but I'll call it the shutdown. I have seen families together, and I don't have children, but I love seeing that. I mentioned that on another video, and I really do, because I think that in today's society, it's a lot different than when I was growing up in terms of families spending time together. And now you could say they're quote unquote forced to, but it's really a joy to behold, because it's coming back to reality and to some of those great things that people didn't realize are important, instead of having 2 cars and all this other excess, material excess. This is a card. Notice the first 2 cards that I picked were cups. So this is about more of the heart chakra. And you're connected to pentacles. And I actually have the Queen of Cups too. So this is a very kind of heartfelt reading in that sense, and more focused on your emotional life than your material life. Being an earth sign, Virgo, you do tend to resonate with those tangible things in life. But that's not all that there is. So that's the important thing to kind of take away from that. And let me see if there's anything else I can say about these 2 cards. Leaving a relationship that was affecting the family happiness. This can be a card of wanting marriage. If there's somebody that, here's the thing. As I record this on May 12th, on May 13th, there's going to be a Venus retrograde, and that could call into question some sort of relationship issue. There's many permutations of this. Actually, I got the same, I think they did the same 2 combination of cards with another sign. I'm not sure, but it sounds it looks so familiar to me. But in any case, an example would be somebody that you have wanted to come back into your life, who you feel is your true love, and who you would want to spend the rest of your life with, versus a person that may have kind of taken that person's place. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's very interesting with the Venus retrograde. Sometimes people get carried away, and this, let's get real, this can happen at any time when somebody comes back into your life, and especially if they were the person who initiated the separation, and they come back, it can be kind of a feeling of, oh wow, they can't live without me, and not seeing that there may be all the problems that were there before haven't magically disappeared just because the person has come back. And they may be playing you, toying with you, they may be, seriously confused in life, but regardless, it doesn't mean that you should get back together with somebody. But this is kind of the stage that I'm setting with these 2 first cards. The higher message is represented by the Queen of Swords. Excuse me. And this is, now when I see this card, I think about somebody who has to make a choice. This is in the spiritual position, so it's not just a mundane choice. It's something that has to come from your, I was going to say your heart chakra, but even more than that, come from a place that you know is your highest good. And when you are deciding whether or not somebody is the right one for you, you have to reflect on their behavior. You know, what kind of have they shown themselves to be honorable? Have they shown themselves to be trustworthy? And it's not just about the the superficial aspect of being very romantic or anything like that. It has to be whether you feel that they really are a person that you can spend the rest of your life with. And with the Ten of Cups, I think that you want this kind of, I wouldn't necessarily call it a fairy tale, but definitely this happy situation, which you deserve. But you can only have that with the right person, you know. And with the Eight of Cups, you may be going through a spiritual awakening where you're starting to, value your life on a whole new level and not be as easily amused by things and not be as easily distracted or manipulated. And so that has to extend to your love life. And especially if you do have children, thinking about their well-being, what is best for them to have a household that is harmonious, which this Ten of Cups represents. What crosses you is the Queen of Cups, and this is a card of intuition, being able to tune into a situation at a deep level, not on, intellectual level. You're ruled by Mercury, so you tend to see things from an analytical, excuse me, it's the morning and I just woke up. You tend to see things from an analytical level, and therefore you're very, I'm putting this in air quotes, practical about life. And the problem with that is that in relationships, sometimes the person that looks really good on paper isn't the right person for you. And maybe you've been neglecting the spiritual side of life in favor of the more it's actually left-brained, the more linear, logical side of life, and that has impacted your discernment in an adverse way, because your values, the things that you're valuing, are not based on what is necessarily good for you at this time in your life. Maybe at one time it would have been different. So nurturing that side of yourself. Also, because I have several cups here, if you are an artistic person, do not shun those gifts for any reason, even if you're thinking, oh, well, can I make a living from it? Can I do this? Being able to take pleasure in something and showcase your talents and brighten the world is such a beautiful thing, and it doesn't have a price tag attached to it. And so sometimes we call those things hobbies. And yes, they can be. If you're a gardener, chances are you're not getting paid for it unless you work in a greenhouse. But you still may plant beautiful flowers that people walk by and they smell and they look at, and they may not even realize it on the conscious level how much it's uplifting them. So it really is part of this, raising the vibration, making life more beautiful, beautifying things. So tuning into that side of the spiritual and the creative. What is coming in is the Emperor, and dang. The Emperor is connected to Aries. I connected to Capricorn. That's just me Somebody wrote to me and said, I connected to Capricorn too. The reason I do is because if you look at this person, he's a very kind of a dignified individual, but he seems like very connected to, you know, I was going to say the status quo or the state. I mean, this could be like a judge or an emperor, or hello, that could be like some kind of a leader. But it represents control. Number 4 in the major arcana. But supposedly it's connected to Aries, so that's why I wanted to mention that. But I really see this as part of you. And, you know, here we have cards that are emotional in nature. And then we have this card about the Emperor. And it's like, get it together. And the last 2 cards, one in the major and one in the minor arcanas, are both 4s. With number 4, we're in a 4 universal year right now. It's about order. This card is about law and order. Divine order, we could say. But this is about Saturn. And Saturn went retrograde yesterday. But it's about this idea of organization and the Emperor can be black and white, because the Emperor believes that the Emperor can be kind of authoritarian, and Saturn can certainly believe that you have to follow a certain procedure, that there's a pecking order, that there's, we have to have discipline and organization and all that stuff. Well, to me, with the Emperor being a major arcana card, it's maybe the divine masculine. This is the yang energy of, even with relationships, but definitely with career matters, being somebody who takes charge of your life, who is getting your house in order. And if, for instance, with the Queen of Cups and these Cups cards, if you are somebody who is artistic, if you want to make a living in a creative way, treating your life with respect, your creative life with respect, where you're still going to pursue it with the same type of mentality that you would if you were studying to become a doctor or a lawyer or something which requires a lot of schooling or maybe an advanced degree in some cases. But when you take it seriously and you don't act like it's not as valid or what have you. And then we have the 4 of Swords. So this is a card of rest, relaxation, like kind of even on, definitely mentally, but also number 4 and Swords, like dealing with thoughts, getting your thoughts in order. So if this is a relationship issue, it really is about straightening out your head, so that your priorities are correct. Maybe taking some time out for yourself so that you can recuperate. But definitely if you have been in some sort of job, perhaps you realize, the 8 of Cups, maybe before the shutdown, you were already dissatisfied. And the universe helped you to do this, and now you realize that there was so much that was lacking. If you are married or coupled, perhaps now you can spend more time with that other person. You're realizing what's important in life. And so with the 4 of Swords, it's really just kind of, even if you've been at home, you may have still been really busy, keeping yourself busy, and maybe you haven't had time to really just give yourself permission to rest. And that may be the best, thing thing you could possibly do at this time. Okay, that's what I have for you, Virgo. I hope that you enjoyed this. If you'd like a private reading, the link is below. Take care. Bye.